Tansei. Greetings, everyone. We have a different scenery, which is very natural of Mother Earth. We hear the birds. It's very sunny, and hopefully the internet is good out here. So let's see who comes in. Okay. I do want to smudge today too, so. Tansei CP, thank you for coming. Hopefully Sangha will be here soon. I spoke with him last night, and he was trying to get things correct on his end, and I was telling him maybe it's still the way it was when we last did a live stream. Maybe that's why he's still hooked up, because he has a couple of accounts and he never shut them or closed them. Tansei Soundwave. Greetings. I thought we have a different scenery. I hope everyone is well. Okay, I do see things in the trees. Yeah, he was telling me that he would go on and it would get disconnected. So hopefully he will be here. Uh-oh. Let me correct something real quick. Oh, here we go, up here. There we go. There. Tansei, Bob, Maddie, welcome, welcome. It is Monday morning, probably Monday afternoon or noontime in your area. Oh, awesome, Soundwave. Okay. You enjoy the scenery in the background? I will say this. I do have 4 of my clans here. They've been with me for a couple days. Uncut, Tansei. There's a few things that I want to talk about and do some prayers. And I have also sent out packages that the ones that have ordered some of the jewelry and a medicine bag. So I'm hoping they will cherish it and enjoy it. I guess people don't like me speaking. They feel I was speaking badly about mediums and psychics. And like I said, I have nothing against them. They have their ways, and that is fine. So I'm here to say, well, if you felt that I was attacking, which I wasn't, but if you want to confront me, you can. I'm on line here on StreamYard where you can come in and we can talk. And say, Karen, yay! You were deep in my thoughts yesterday, and I came out here to talk last night, actually around 3 a.m. to speak to my clan, and said, let's send some positive vibes and grateful energy. And I did some other prayers for Bob and Maddie and Karen, Jackie, CP, Sangha. So everyone that I think there's about maybe 60 of you guys that I did prayers. And I also pray for those who come in and out, and for all those who love to hate on me, which I'm fine. You're more welcome to come in and out. But again, that is you who you are, and I'm okay with that. So I'm not sure. You might see them. Things are good here. These are natural bird calling. I just love to hear them. My two nests that I have on the side of my wall, they're made out of mud and hay, and from the crop too, the hair from the corn. And they came and start nesting. So I'm pleased. I'm happy that my little birds are coming back in. Now, there has been where people ask, why do you call a satanga? And many people call tanka, Takatana, sataka, which is another for Bigfoot. And I was thinking about doing a prayer to start our beautiful day. So, if you don't mind, can you please say yes, I'm ready? And for those that don't want any prayers, you don't have to respond. But I always feel that prayers are good and brings positive energy as the Creator gives us. Okay, CP's ready. Anyone else is ready? Okay. Initko tayo nista kunine ko hete yoko hete ine ko bai inisito kuninte la ko hete o ani istu ake ne iste ke o istu ane to ko hete no no ko pakaye nista ina no aiste ko e makaye nere ko to istu ko ana paieto Yeshma kumanan hai hindi ko dia hai isto ko hai ketay mo kuna hai amen. Thank you. I ask the Creator and Mother Earth to protect us all and bring healing for all of us that needs it most, but yes, for everyone. And for those who are having spasms in your back and having headache and feeling really sore, the aching is from the hands. So, and I pray that all health wise is going good. And I ask the Creator and Mother Earth to protect us as we walk on her and to give us good health and lead us through our journey. We have a guest here, and it is Sangha, my son. So let's welcome him in and give him an applause. Sangha, good morning, good afternoon, son. Hi, hi, to all those. He's coming. He's coming. Give him time. He just woke up.
I didn't wake up. I've been up. I've been prepping for this fishing trip.
Oh, and you're going tonight?
Yes. We're going here in a little bit.
Okay, so afterwards.
Yep.
Okay. Well, everyone, I'd like to say hello. Say welcome in my son, Sangha. Everybody knows him as AKA Biggie. And he has been having problems coming back online. So if you guys have any questions, he is here to help you.
I tried to go live twice now or whatever, but every time I get on, it just cuts the stream, and get on, it cuts the stream. So I don't know if it's some mechanical issue going on with the phone, because you see I'm live now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you try disconnecting and coming back up, re-signing in? Wanted. Orange.
I got one, that's my wolf cup, and I got another one that's my ogre cup. So when I'm feeling kind of mean, I pull out the ogre.
Yeah.
People can tell me moving for the day.
Let's see. I did smudge, and I said a prayer.
I'm smudging right now.
Yeah, it's the wrong kind. Let me do a quick one for you.
Chris, is my coffee can over there? The blue one up on top of the fish tank? Blue can, bring it here.
All right, son. CP says, what you do with a piece of the video?
Oh, I just delete it. I don't save it.
On some you slow down and you could see what's watching.
On the ones that I was trying to go live and it wouldn't go live, I didn't save them. But I know there was stuff there or whatever, because when I got out, me, Chris, and Alicia went. My wife, everybody knows my wife. We went, whatever, and we tried to go live. I still went. Like the first time I went out, when I tried to go live, we still went on a hunt. I have night vision goggles video that I got to upload, but we still went out. But the second time last night when I went out, I got mad, so I left. Tried to go live, it wouldn't let me. Got to take the phone in, whatever, and have it checked. I had it happen to me before, where something about the Wi-Fi or something like that. See, I think what it's doing is it's connecting to the Wi-Fi and it's losing signal. And it happened to me on one of my other phones. I had to take it to Boost Mobile and have them fix it. So I'm gonna take it in, and if not, then I guess I'm gonna have to wait till the first when I get my disability check and get another phone. So might not be no hunts until the first, but it is what it
It
is.
is what it is. True. Plus, you know that you can always make short videos, and you know your clan. I believe there's two different clans. It's like your clan that is close to you. They know when another clan comes towards your house, and they leave because then you're gonna have fiction.
Well, I know I have Big Black from PA. He's the one that's got the 21-inch print. I asked Josh if he's been seeing them up there, and he says no. That he ain't been seeing them. I know he came back with me because the EVPs or whatever. I ask him, you know, like their names or whatever, and he tells me his name's Benjamin. And I was thinking, I'm like, Benjamin. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. Josh's name was Benjamin, the big one. And why is mine down here named Benjamin? Come to find out, it's the one from up there.
Isn't that the picture I caught?
Yeah, he's the one that's got the see. Everybody thinks Big Black is the one that's standing wide or whatever with the long beard and all that, but he's not. He's the one that's got the clean face. He's got the little curls in his hair, so he kind of looks like, you know, me in a little bit, you know, but he's got the little curls. I mean, he's got his own. Yeah. Right now he's got a little longer hair because he's growing it out for the winter, but it still has the curls because I caught him in the kitchen, which was kind of weird because I thought when I walked by the kitchen window and I turned and looked at the kitchen window, I seen a face following my face, but it was a Sasquatch face. And I was thinking to myself, and it's got you thinking in your head, you know, like, am I really like delusional or whatever? Like, am I like thinking I'm a Sasquatch, you know? But then I realized I was like, oh, that was Big Black. So
yeah,
it makes you wonder, you know, when you see him and all that. It makes you like I call them shadow people because a lot of people are like, well, why you call them like that? It's because they're like ghosts. They're like ghosts. I mean, they're shadows, they're figures. They can disappear. They can come when they want. You know, it's just like a shadow.
Satangas will, especially when they come around residents, they do come in a different form. Unless they're, if it's nighttime, then they usually come up and present themselves. So, but I'm been cleared to fly. So I'm trying to figure a date out.
That's cool. So you got to dust your broom off then.
Yeah. I told my husband, I says, well, I can leave my body here and be over there. And he's like, how are you going to eat? How are you going to do this? You're going to drain yourself.
I send my sister little memes all the time. I say, well, dust your room off is about that time because Halloween's coming up.
Yeah, my birthday's close to Halloween. I mentioned the other day on the live chat that I would share some salmon with Sasquatch if it came down to it. Of course you can. It's one of their favorite foods.
Well, not only that, you can like we can eat fish raw, so they can eat fish raw. So they prefer fish over deer or anything like that because deer meat they got to cook it and all that. Because I try telling everybody, you know, it gives them worms. It gives them like just like us, you know, it messes up their body.
Right. They don't. They only eat deer or even chickens. Because sometimes when people live like off the grid and they leave your chickens wild, you know, and they go all over the place. So, and it's
remember,
like,
you remember at the hot spot that those 3 scratches that went across the tree?
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching Josh. He posted from Squatch Topic PA. He posted a deer on in one of the videos or whatever. And if you look at the deer, you can see the 3 claw marks in the side of the deer. So they marked that deer or whatever. So that deer cannot be killed.
They do that. And it's just the same thing as the 3 markings. If you get If you get marked, that means they're not going to get you. Other clans will sense the marking on the person. So it is like you have clans that you communicate with, you interact with them um, every day as you go on with your livelihood. Um, some of the councils were saying that um, they are proud of what you do, and they said that you get good reviews, good comments, and that have you learned much from me?
Have I learned much from you? Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned how to keep myself safe and protected while I'm out there dealing with these entities that come around. Like the it. We don't like to say the name. Um,
Correct.
I also feel kind of like I've been hearing the screams and the crying and all that, so I'm kind of thinking that I'm dealing with a Wendigo too here and there. But
Um,
it could.
this is
But I also heard that there's a Sasquatch that does the same thing too, though. Somebody was saying, like I was watching these documentaries or whatever. They're saying that there's a Sasquatch, but it's a certain kind of. I don't know how you say his name. Kustika. He kind of like takes your soul or something like. They're trying to say like he's like a Wendigo and a Bigfoot mix, which I've
Kataka.
been doing. You say Contunta? See, I
K
know a lot of people know it as
A.
Kustika or Kustika.
For short, it's Kanta.
Kunta? Okay.
That is true. Those are the aggressive. Um,
Bigfoots. Yeah.
yeah,
I believe them are the
those are
ones that I encountered that have the red eye shine. But I know it's only one. But the thing is people think that it takes your soul when you see it and all this. I've been face to face with it. I've been close to the eye shine where the red eye, and that one to me looks like a Bigfoot and a dog man mixed together though. So I don't know if it's that breed of Bigfoot and Dogman mix. I don't know if that's okay to say it's the Kunta or how you say it,
Kataka.
Kunta.
Kataka.
If that's the one, because I've been seeing it more and more, and I noticed when me and Chris seen that one, it looked like a dog, but the way it moved and all that was more like a Bigfoot. So I'm pretty sure that's the one we're seeing that we're thinking is a Dogman and a Bigfoot mix. I think that's the one that has the 4 toes.
Well, we had mentioned this with other tribals that were saying that in Oklahoma and West Virginia has been noticing the Wingalos coming more towards the Mid East, and I'm like, well, what are they saying? And the ones that investigated in those areas, they said yes, it looks like it's um, a Bigfoot, but yet a dog. And I said, what was the tracks? Now, the last time I had confront with the Wingalo, I was about 25.
The tracks that I've been seeing or whatever are like a Sasquatch track. It has the Sasquatch print in it like it, but the only difference is it has the 4 toes with the
And
claws
it
in it.
and it goes like this.
It has 4, like 4 of them. Yeah, but the way it spreads out is it kind of looks like a dog print on the top part of it, but it has the foot of a Sasquatch.
Yeah, they hailed.
Yeah, and
I
the
know.
side comes out on the one side and goes in on the other side. So it actually has like I said, it to me it's like a hybrid Sasquatch. I've been.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right.
Um, I brought this up in the last video too because how they were saying the Wingalo's rack. Now, it's been confirmed that there is 2, and it goes like this, or it can go up and curl down, and then they have the little
Spike button horns.
points.
Yeah, the crown.
And so it can tell you if it's thick and comes out like this, then that's an older one.
That's a moose.
I wish it would be. I wish.
But I do know this though. I do know Bigfoots or whatever. They like to wear animals on their head. Now, I ain't confirmed it that if they're dead animals, because they could be live, but they like to wear them on their head as hats and stuff, or they put them on their head like to stack them up or whatever, like totem pole type deal. So that way, when you see them, you're thinking you're looking at a raccoon, so you don't really. I think it's more like a disguise thing, like a mask or a hat. I've been noticing they've been wearing them, but I'm wondering too if a lot of people seeing these Wendigos and they're saying they're Wendigos or whatever. What if it's just a Sasquatch wearing a rack, like a moose rack or something? Like they're putting horns on just to mimic this creature.
Now, many Satangas have. They do wear where the head is off because they get the inside, they get the brains and everything. They eat that, but to put it on as a face, usually it could be the juveniles that do that because
Is
that's
that whistling
given.
coming from your house?
Mhm.
The bird noise? Because that's the bird noise that they make.
Mm-hmm.
That bird noise right there.
Well, I know my clan is here. There's 4 of them.
I was talking on one of my lives or whatever. I was explaining. I think it was the one where I was breaking down the night vision goggles and showing people the head popping up in the screen and the hand going across and the head coming across and the orbs. I did notice when I was talking about them making bird noises, the whistle or whatever, they did the whistle, but I didn't hear it until I went back and actually watched the live stream.
See, sometimes when you're out there and you're investigating, sometimes you do hear and see, but at times you're trying to focus. We're trying to find the prints or see where they could be. Now, some, like I always say, they're right close to you. You
Oh yeah,
can,
I've seen the pictures.
yeah. They're especially in your hotspot. They do follow you. There's 3 that usually follow you, and then they'll go in each side, and then you can hear them stomping as they're walking.
That's pareidolia.
Paranormal.
It's funny because people talk about it. They literally say you're seeing faces or making yourself see faces that are not there. But the thing is how is it consistent faces of the creatures in the same size that they are out there, and they're all over? There's no way pareidolia works like that.
Right. When it comes to spirits, they tend to come around when there's high energy. And yes, sometimes they use the equipment
Yeah, they
or
kill batteries and flashlights, and I can't keep a flashlight charged for the love of God. Like, they drain the battery, the equipment. That's why I said they're almost doing spiritual stuff. They're almost doing like when you ghost hunt, how they drain the batteries and then they mess with the cameras, and the spirits do the same thing. The ghosts do the same thing when I do ghost hunts. So they're like doing the same thing, but what I notice is they're doing native ways, like how they hunt and how they hide, and then on top of it, they're doing spiritual stuff too. Like, that's why I get into the EVPs and doing ghost stuff out there too, because a lot of people are like, well, you're hunting Bigfoots, but now you're turning it into a ghost investigation. But the thing is the way that they act and the way that the evidence is showing is that they're spiritual and they're on top of physical, they can do physical body when they're here, and then they can do, spiritual body too. So it's kind of like you got to do both, because somebody's like, well, how are we following the tracks? And then all of a sudden the tracks disappear. That's happened on Expedition Bigfoot. They were following a Sasquatch, and all of a sudden the tracks just disappear. When they cloak, their tracks just vanish,
right.
Which is kind of weird. You go to the end of the track, and then all of a sudden it leads nowhere.
Soundwave says, I heard deer skin on their heads, not so much in Florida, being funny that wearing a raccoon and squirrels. You'd be surprised what they do.
I've caught them with raccoon heads. I've caught them with some kind of like possum looking creature. I've caught them with different kind of animals on their head. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if the animals are alive, if they ain't alive. You know, they could be alive. Who knows? You know, I don't know. But I know this. I know they have a lot of different pets, like we do. Like we have cats, we have birds, we have snakes, we have. So who's to say that a Sasquatch don't have all these creatures too? You know, and they're their pets, and they run wild, and they hang on them, and they crawl all over them, and we don't know.
Whatever Mother Earth has, they're all there. All the way down to ants, rats, worms. They're all there. CP says, if you watch it carefully, you can hear them move.
Yeah, I hear them move all the time. I point them out in the live stream and all that. CP's been doing a really good job at when I point, she goes in, she blows it up where my finger is, and the one where I was pointing or whatever, the one that was in the tree or whatever that I seen with my own eyes out there, I didn't know if I caught it or not. Because sometimes you see them, but you don't know if the camera picks them up or whatever. But when I pointed it out, CP was on it. She was like, boom, and it was right there in the tree. I mean, you could see it hanging onto the tree, just sitting there chilling, looking at me.
Yeah, when she was on that one time when you went live, and that's when you and Alicia were gifting, I had told her, did you catch it? So I believe she did. And that was the same one I was trying to, that I sent to you. And there's a lot of things that people don't see because, it's a video. But with our eyes, we can actually see or hear them. But there, they know who you are and they know when to pop out, when not to.
Yeah, that's true.
Someway says, my friend Dan, who got Parkinson's this past, heard Bigfoot chatter in the woods near his cabin. He couldn't understand what they're saying and why they showed when in trouble. Well, a Satanga can feel what the person is going through. And it's either if he's come outside the cabin and they feel that there's danger around, then sometimes they will protect who is there in that cabin, especially if they live there completely day on, day out.
Well, I showed people in the live stream or whatever when that It's came up on me. They were trying to surround me. I went up that trail and I seen them or whatever on top of the back of that thing. Them Sasquatches broke that tree and broke that branch and all that. I showed you guys the tree. The tree split, and that branch, they took it and twisted and broke it right off. And then I asked them later on at night, I said, so after I seen that tree, I asked them on the EVPs, I said, so what was all that about? And they said the Sasquatches told me straight up, they got mad. And that's when they asked me to bring them the fish. Now, you told me to go get fresh water, which had to be from a lake or from a river, to spray on yourself to keep the it from hearing and from seeing and all that, from taking your soul and all that. So I missed myself. Well, they asked me for the fish. They've never asked me for a fish before, and they ain't asked me for a fish since. But the night that I took them that fish, the weird stuff happened. And then the next day I talked to you, whatever, later on, we talked later on that night, you told me that Mama Rainfeather and you and the Sasquatches pushed them out, which, they asked for the fish. So I wonder if the fish, that when they asked for it, they knew that they needed that fish to do some kind of remedy or something to get them out of there. So that's what I feel, that they asked for the fish to do that remedy to get them out of there.
They use fish for food wise or for medicine, and they also, it's to leave a marking that it can't come. So when Mama Rainfeather and I, well, you can't see me really, just like a lining, but you can see Mama Rainfeather because she shows her whole spirit form, body form. And that was one of the one of your videos where you could see her right in front of the Satanga. The Satanga,
yeah, she was standing right next to Big Black. Yeah, I seen that picture. That's right when I was gifting them, right there where I was gifting them. She was standing there, and then you circled her and you could see her hair and it was braided like, and then she had her hand, you could see the left hand was outward and the other one was behind her, but she was standing right there, and right there next to the tree, like he always does, there's Big Black standing there. And not only that, on the live stream, you can see the eye shine. I tell everybody there's one right there, you know, like I say it all the time. I'm like, there's one right there behind the tree. You know, I can see the eye shine, but sometimes the video camera on the live stream don't pick up the eye shine. Like I'll be seeing it and physically looking at me, and I'm like, well, there it is. And, you know, and I'm trying to get it on the live stream, whatever. I'm like, I hope I caught it on the camera. But I know the tree that they stand at. Like literally, they stand at that tree all the time. They're always at that tree. And then if you go up the hill, there's a bush. Come on, cat, go. There's a bush. And they use that for cover, but they come up and they peek out the bush, or they peek out the bottom part of the bush. I catch them there in the daytime and at nighttime.
They blend in. They squat like this, and they have them. Usually they'll do one eye, but sometimes they'll open where the two. Soundwave says, I got a bird that leaves fish on my side of the road for Bigfoot area. He don't eat fish, but everything else does. It took me a long time to figure out where the fish came from. Sometimes birds are messengers. So they can bring a fish to a Satanga, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, but they are the ones that send the message to the birds. So, but not necessarily all the time.
I had a strange encounter yesterday. We were coming back from the store, and I think I was talking to you in the store when we were coming back from Walmart. We had went out and got some fish bait and stuff to go fishing today. That was last night. We were coming over the bridge where the river comes, is the Battle Creek River. I looked to my right, and on the side of the water, but it was standing in the water, but it was facing the bank, like it was catching fish along the side of the shore. I seen a Sasquatch in the daytime just standing there fishing. And I was like, wow, did I really see this? And I'm like, nah. And then what's weird is I was riding to the hot spot last night to go do this live. We're riding, and then all of a sudden there's this, we get to the school, but there's a fence, and then there's a few trees. And laying right beside the fence on the ground is the dog that I catch on the ground all the time. Like I got pictures of this dog laying beside trees on the ground. We're going to the hot spot. All of a sudden I look over to the right, and I tell Alicia, I said, there's the dog laying on the ground. She's like, where? And I'm like, beside the tree. Well, I was already going so fast. But the thing is when you back up or turn around to go look at it to see where like the spot it was at, it's gone. It cloaks. That's why I was like, do Bigfoots and Dogman cloak? Well, I got proof that they cloak. So
yes, they do. And I've mentioned this many times in the videos. I've also told you and Billy He. But it is what it is. Angelos wants your YouTube channel.
It's the Great Outdoors Biggie.
Just on his shirt, what it says.
See the shirt or whatever, you'll see the logo just like this. It says the Great Outdoors, and it says Biggie at the bottom. It looks just like this right here.
Okay.
And if you go in, if you want to see stuff that we've caught in the live stream, guys, go into the shorts on the YouTube channel. Watch the shorts. Like you'll see me, like I have prints from when I find them in the house. I got gifted, me and the wife got gifted a flower. It had a flower, it had berries, it had sage. It had a couple other things in the middle of it. It was wrapped in vine. I'm not saying what was in the middle of it because there's these other channels that are trying to, oh, we found this or we got this, and they're staging stuff to make it look like, you know, like they're finding it. And my channel, whatever, I want to keep it 100 and real because I get tired of all these other channels out there trying to stage stuff and fake stuff, you know. So if they get gifted or whatever, one of these, I want to know what's in the middle of it to see if it's a real one, you know. So Mama knows what's in it. There's a couple people on the channel that's close to us that know what's in it, but I don't want to give it away because I want to see if these other channels that are going to find something, if they're actually finding something or they're just staging it, you know. So because there's a lot of fakes out there. They like to stage stuff.
Uh, Uncut Salvage says house worms are sweet.
You know what that means?
I'm not sure. I'm not understanding. Can you rephrase a different way? Uh, does anybody else have any other questions? You know, but I want to. The reason why I asked for our guests to come on here is that he's not trying to cut his videos and stuff, but when he's trying to get on and
Thanks,
he
CP.
go, he goes on the live stream for either on YouTube or StreamYard, and he's on for like maybe 5-10 minutes and then gets disconnected. So um be patient with him,
Yeah,
and
sometimes I
if
think too, though, Mama, when it cuts me like that, I'm thinking like, because I had it happen to me a while back, and I thought it was the phone. I took it in, and they zapped the phone or whatever, and come to find out it was something to do with the Wi-Fi with them zapping it. But I think there's certain times when I go out there that they do this to the phone because it's their personal time. Like they might be mating season. They might be mating, like people call it mating season. I think they mate all year long, but maybe there's something out there that they don't want me to see or catch, or maybe they just don't feel like cloaking for the day. They're like, nah,
well
don't come in because we don't want to cloak, or we don't want you in here tonight, or maybe there's spirits in me that they don't want me in there, or maybe that thing is back and they're trying to get rid of it. I don't know, but I feel when something happens like that everything happens for a reason, and
yes.
the reason could be, like I said, maybe there's something in there and they don't want me in there. Maybe there is a window go in there and they're trying to get it out of there. Maybe there is another it that came back and they're fighting it. I don't know, but I always look at signs as being a plus, because I took my best friend to the airport and it was raining that day and like sleeting, and we got there going slow. And I showed up, but he got there on time because we left early. So he wasn't late. But when I was coming back, my car had the windows had frozen up or whatever, so I couldn't see out the windows in my truck. So I had to sit there at the airport like an extra 10 minutes to let the truck actually warm up to defrost the windows. Well, if I wouldn't have done that, when we were on our way back, there was a pileup on the highway, and right where the pileup was, we would have been there at that time if we'd have just dropped them off and left. So I look at everything like a blessing, like a sign. So when stuff happens like that,
That is true. I've told you that. Look out for signs because those will tell you majority of the time if something pops up, there's got to be a reason why it's trying to stop you not to film or personally, you getting hurt or something. Houseworm birds come in your house and make nest. Oh, okay.
I have believe it or not, you're talking about that Uncut Savage. I have an air conditioner on this side of the wall, and there is a bird nest inside my house that the cats have got in there and pulled the bird out, whatever, the baby and all that. So I know about bird nests coming inside the house. So that is kind of creepy.
Yeah, I have my two on the side of the house. Usually, they come like 3 times a year to trying to have their family. But now that my husband put the port carport on top, and but now they go under and then they come back. A month ago, I had two young bald eagles land and played 500 feet from my backyard. Any special meanings of this? I found your channel the next day. um, what they do is sometimes they're looking to nest, or they have been told to guard. So usually, if you're close to um, many trees in the back, then yes, that is because they're being told
Now,
to.
if you had a red hawk, out there circling and all that, then that might be a little more in depth in the meaning.
Those are white owls, son.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like, what's that one? Thunderhawk. A Thunderhawk. If you see a Thunderhawk, yeah, then that's the one that it. See, everybody thinks that the native bird is an eagle, which they like the eagles and all that, but the Thunderhawk has got more meaning than the eagle.
We have a few birds, a couple owls that we send out to look, and
And a lot of times the natives or whatever, like we get into, it's more of the white, like the white Bigfoots, the white buffalo, the white owl, the white wolf. You know, we get into that has meaning. And then there's also the black ones too that have meaning. So
yes, uncut. I know what you're talking about. I had those little ones in my on the side of my house. They come and they'll come to my windowsill and they'll do this. That's letting me know they're here and they want some food. Because I come out and I leave bird seeds, or I'll give them crumbs from my the bread because I don't let no bread spoil at all. I share it with the animals here. I mean, we have peacock on the other side of the cornfield, so there's a rancher there that has a peacock and stuff. Okay. Soundwave says, I took pictures of my unmaking nest at the camp bathroom. Crows and vultures can be pain, uncut, and rip my windshield wiper. Oh, wow. I have a park in the backyard in open field. I think they may have dropped down a feather. Now, if they drop a feather and you see it, it's someone is sending you a message. And it's trying to share with you.
you guys are on the feather thing today, so I'm just gonna show you all some feathers that like when I go out, I collect all the feathers. This one here is a blue heron. I got that out of where it was chilling on by the water. Everybody knows what crows look like. Crow feathers. This one I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I'm thinking turkey. It's got the brown in it. This I'm pretty sure is a goose or a duck.
Pigeon.
Oh, well, that's pretty big for a pigeon.
Pigeon feathers have long ones and short ones.
These ones here are hard to find though, but you can find them. Anybody guess what this one is?
Aw.
It's a blue jay.
Uh-huh.
Swan. White swan. I tell everybody that I collect feathers, and I don't know if they, the reason why is because I wanna make a headdress, a native headdress. So I want to do it out of different feathers, so because I'm weird like that. So, but I've been collecting, so. And there's a lot more that I collected or whatever that the cats decided they wanted to eat and take and rip up, and so when I tell people I collect feathers, I'm not joshing y'all. I really do collect feathers.
I've been making fans out of the feathers that sorry. What the heck? There's something. Okay. The feathers I've been making the fans. It's better for me to say fans than the name because people like, what is that? So fan, like I have Kentucky. or no, Tennessee sent me some feathers, and I've been making, and I'm putting some kits together. So I will
Yeah, where you
be.
wrap them with the leather and then you put the beads on them and all that. So you use them like when you're doing your sage, you're fanning.
Mhm.
That's the kind of fan you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Some people
they
think
call
like
it.
a fan, they think like, like a feather that's fan, like almost like a, what is it, turkey, whatever. You know how they got the feathers that fan out, and they're probably thinking like a big fan, like you use like at like air shows and stuff when you're fanning yourself. But when we talk about fans, we talk about like ones that we use for like medicine, like doing your native stuff. Fans.
Indigenous, we call them indigenous natives kutkashi, which means in English fan. I don't know how better to say it,
When
but
we do them,
yes,
they're kind of like you take like some people use like 3 feathers or whatever. They stick them together. They beat them.
ours start with 4
Yeah,
and
some
then
do
3
3, and
and
then
2.
they put them together, and then they make a fan, and then that's how we fan our sage and all that.
Yeah, it's because when you're going around and you like I do when I smudge you guys online while I'm doing the prayer. That's what I do. But I'm trying to put like 3 and 2 together and put it with
Mama,
the.
is there a native out there that has a thunderhawk feather?
Many of us do.
So it's a real bird.
Yes.
I knew it was.
Yes. And it's a
Sacred
sacred bird.
feathers. Yeah. See,
It's
because
very.
everybody thinks that the bald eagle is the sacred for the natives. And I keep trying to tell them it's the thunderhawk. It's a different bird. But don't get me wrong, the eagle does have meaning, and it is a sacred bird. But the sacred bird, whatever, would be a thunderhawk.
There is many birds that are very powerful that we connect with. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't give all information out, but I can say yes or no. Um, has anyone seen? Let me click on it. Has anyone else seen the video of the cat and the turtle on a mini skateboard? They are friends. The turtle follows the cat around all the time. A needy turtle. Um, I've seen a bird follow a turtle.
I got videos of my dog, my pit bull dog, and my other bird or whatever, lovebird, and they were in love. Like they did everything together. The bird would sleep on top of the dog, play with the dog. The bird would fly down and peck the dog and fly back up, and they would just play all day long.
Um, I had a parrot, and he was green, red, and blue, and you can see some yellow. And I would have a stand on him, and he's huge, about this big, and I had only clipped his wing on one side, and I didn't do the other because I was trying to help my mom at the time. And then when I came back, I went to look to see where he was because I heard "F you, F you." And when he says that, I means there's someone in the house or someone coming to the door. And I believe it was one of my children that went out the door, and he flew outside. And I'm like, come down, Mr. Koi, come down, come to mama. And when my children's father came around, that's why he was saying F you. My mom was saying,
You didn't say
you.
nothing about like pirate or blackbird, pirate, blackbird. Because if you
Well,
did whatever, then we could find Blackbeard's gold.
so but he flew away, and I had him like for 15 years, and I didn't have him no more. I couldn't. I said, okay, it was meant for you to go. So
They
spread.
live a long time too.
Yeah, they live up to close to 30 years.
Well, they were saying even longer than that because I heard that they were saying something about Blackbird's parakeet or whatever still alive or whatever, and then somebody's looking for it, trying to find it or whatever, so they can get the gold or whatever. the buried treasures.
Uncut says the kingfisher bird is a favorite of mine. They dive in the water and bring fish. Yes, they do.
Eagles do that too. They dive down into the water and grab fish.
Many many birds. Majority of the white ones, what do you call pelicans?
Yeah.
They do. Um, there's some stuff that I was like saying earlier in my video, but nobody was in yet. And first, let me introduce myself. I keep forgetting to do that because we get people come in, come out, and I know there's a couple just watching. Well, I'm Elder Medicine Bear Claw. I'm 100% Blackfoot, and I come from Blackfeet Mountain Res. I do not live on the res. I live outside because I believe in taking care of my family by working, not taking money from the government. This is my son, Sangha. Um, I love him dearly. I try to teach him some of our ways so he can carry on. And now, what I want to say is there's been a few emails and that I received that not just myself, but it's brought up about my son Sangha, and I guess I seen it's at Josh about that we were talking bad about the psychics and mediums. Now, I will tell you for fact, and I say this in all my videos every time it comes up because I can feel one all the time watching. It is their privilege to come and watch. I don't speak bad about them. He doesn't speak bad about them, but don't bring any bad black magic, whatever you do. And again, I'm not being offensive of you or speaking bad. I'm just saying from other experience that they tried to come upon. I'm not blaming. I'm not pointing fingers. Either is my son, but they have their own gifts, and that way, that's fine. All we ask is don't pin it on our lives because you're sending out different. Okay, you need to hug the cat. He's trying to get your attention.
It's not my cat.
Oh, whose cat is it?
That's Mud's cat. We've had it here ever since they've been living in the hotel because they can't have it. So he gets picky and starts crying.
He misses them.
Yeah.
So anyway, therefore, I'm laying it out there. We are very good on these people. We don't BS. I don't cuss. Maybe my son might slip here and there, but um,
Well,
we
it gets pretty muddy out there when I'm doing them hunts. So
yeah, I know. So if you like some proper information about the Satangas, the Dogman, Wingalo, and yes, he's learning more about the it, so which is good. Now, if you have any questions or you want to share something, please say. Okay, Soundwave, you always got questions all the time. The tribe down here, rich from casino and money and devout checks, now they don't have to work or drink all day. Well, I'm not one of them. I worked. I was a nurse for
I got
26 years.
native in me too, and I don't get no money from the casino guys. Like they say, if you prove that you're a certain percentage of the tribe and all that, you get money and all that. That's just hearsay. We still have to pay taxes. We still have to do all that. Everybody thinks that natives get it made and all that, and we don't have to pay taxes and all that. That's not true.
Yeah, my grandmother and my mom, we left the res, and I was born in Nevada, so that would tell you from there. But
Well,
yes,
this is
exactly.
another thing too. People think too. Well, if you live on the res, you don't have to pay to live on the res. Well, I hate to tell you, I know people that live on the res and they pay to live on the res. They have to pay their fair share. Nobody
They
lives in
still
this world for free.
exactly. They have to pay their taxes on their home, whatever. Every 6 months or every 3 months, yes, you can get up to $10,000. If you have children, it's added more. But see, that's not me. As my grandmother says, you got to work for your living to show your family what is the value in life. So that way we're equal with other people. So, um, unfortunately, I do help those who want it because I'm the legal advice for the res all different nations, and besides a medicine woman. Now I kind of stopped doing the documents and everything, but I do maybe 100, and that's it. Yes, I'm on the council, and they do ask me, how's it going um, with those you have sponsored to help, and I have to report every time. So, but it's like I told them, I said, Mama Rainfeather wanted us to start a channel, and this is what she had passed, so I'm continuing doing it and still teaching other people about Satangas, Dogman, the It, the Wingalo, Shapeshifters, so that way for you to understand. Now, with my son, I've been teaching him more because he is my son now. We all indigenous natives are very close, but when one distance and doesn't follow with the family circle, it can be shum.
Which is like what let's see, what some people that live off grid or whatever that they always talk about. They wear the hats.
Oh,
That they what some people. Alicia. Oh, she's not in there. I can't think of them. They live Amish.
yeah, the Amish. Some of the Amish do live on off the grid, but there is
Well, they do that with their club, their clan or whatever. If you're not a part of their clan, or you're well, I shouldn't say clan. You're not part of their group or whatever, then you're shunned from the group. You
Mhm.
know, that's what they do too.
It's just like how they say
You
they
have to
tell the
go by
kids
their
you
rules.
yes, they do. You have to obey their Christianity laws. You're not allowed to wear makeup. You're not allowed to wear pants. That's the same. There's some Christians, and what do they call them? The apostolates. They do that. You can only curl your hair and stuff, but it is. I mean, many people think that um, I got one. You're collecting. Believe me, no. I won't be honest and say, yeah, my mother and I worked in the fields and stuff. Yeah, we did to survive
I've been
from
collecting
time.
a lot of feathers,
So, it's important to understand
like a
that
lot of
many,
clowns.
you have to understand, yes, there are some natives that drink
We
their
don't,
ways.
we don't get money like that. We don't get money
Mm-mm.
like that.
No.
I live right, like I said, I live right now, like literally a few miles from the casino, guys, and ain't no money coming in this way from no casino.
Mm-mm.
They
Money.
hire regular people out off the street to work at the casinos,
Yeah, they do. I have a casino that's
and it's
30
owned by natives.
minutes. 30 minutes for me, and then the other one is Sonora, which is Blackfoot. Black Oak, and there's a clan in that area. I think that clan is where I'm getting the fourth marking because I know it tells me where it's coming from. The Sonora Mountains by Yosemite over here. So, Marcy, don't say my love. I'm part native. I never tried to get money from being part native. I always worked and sometimes worked 2 jobs. Yes. Um, if you are one, if you're half of whatever, so you have to collect, you have to be just about half. But you also have to show proof that your parents or your grandparents or your great grandparents um, are from there or lived on the res. Believe me, I do all.
I have family that live on the res and all that, and you still don't get paid. I have a sister that still stays on the res, and she don't get it like that. It's not like that. That's what I try and tell people is they think that you get just because you live on the res, you get all this money and all that. She's not res. She don't get money like that.
Yeah, he's half and I'm a quarter. Cut says so many of no benefits. Many people don't because you let it get to your head. Say in 3 months, um, you receive a check. Let's just say it's 25,000. That's gonna last you because you won't get the next one until the 6 months later. They can pay in 2 payments, 6 months, 6 months, or is it three, 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 and three. So it gets it's hard, but
Well, how do I
that
sign up for this? I want to start getting 25,000 every 6 weeks.
six
Every
months, I
six
see.
months. Hey, even 6 months. That's better than no months.
Yeah, well, the council asked me, well, why don't you do it? No.
Soundwave says, Biggie, do you camp out in BF area? I've been camping in Bigfoot area for a long time, ever since I was a kid, ever since I could walk. Before I could walk, my dad used to take me on hikes and all that at Fort Custer. I spent my life out there. That's when I first had my first encounter. That's when I first seen my first Bigfoots. That's like that out there. There's a lot of acres, and we've hiked that for ever since I was a kid growing up. My dad was always in the woods. We went on trails, but we also didn't stay on trails. We went through the woods. We hiked all over. Like there wasn't an inch out there that we didn't hike. And we used to find tracks. See, now this is before we knew about Bigfoot. Like we didn't, because this before like the internet, before news, before stuff got out in the real world or whatever. This is before we had cell phones and you could take pictures, and that's when Polaroids were big, and poor people couldn't afford them because the film was so much, and they're still too much. They're like $20 for like 10 shots or something like that nowadays. But anyway, we were finding prints. We were finding deer that were ripped open, cut open, and it was like weird because it wasn't like things were missing. The only thing was missing was like the liver and the heart. So we were finding these animals ripped open and all that, and we were finding these tracks. And my dad was like, I hate to say it, but I'm thinking this is signs of Bigfoot. And he would sit there and we would laugh because I was a kid, whatever. I would laugh, or whatever. I'm like, your family members used to tell you, well, don't go in the woods at night because the boogeyman will get you. Well, the boogeyman they were referring to was like Sasquatches or the cryptids of the night, which you blow it off or whatever. I used to laugh about it. My dad used to say that. My grandma used to say, don't go in the woods. The boogeyman will get you, or get in the house when the streetlights come on, because if not, the boogeyman will get you. And I always thought that was just a thing, like the people said, old people said. Just like I used to hear the one my grandma used to tell me, well, good night and don't let the bed bugs bite, or good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And I always thought that was a myth too, or whatever, until I lived in Kalamazoo, or whatever, and I found out that bed bugs was a real thing. So I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. But my dad or whatever, I wish he was still alive. I wish I would have did a documentary with him. That way you guys could have heard his story and all that. Now my sister, she's like, yeah, she knows that there's Bigfoots out there, like she knows, but she tries to blow it off in her mind that there ain't nothing out there like that, because a lot of people do that because They go camping, they go hiking, they do this, they do that. They're in the woods, they like the woods and stuff. So a lot of people blow it off. They're just like, oh, there ain't no such thing as a Bigfoot. There ain't no such thing. And then when they have their encounter, that's why I tell people all the time that laugh at me, mock me, say, hey, there ain't no such thing as a Bigfoot. You're just chasing shadows. You're just chasing stuff that ain't there. You're just making stuff up. Well, when you have your first encounter and everybody else is laughing at you, everybody else is teasing you and all that, people are making fun of you. You can always call me or whatever. I'm not gonna make fun of you. I'm not that type of person, whatever. Because when my dad used to tell me when we had our sighting and whatever, he's like, you can't go around telling nobody. You can't go to school telling your friends. You can't go nowhere telling it because people are gonna think you're crazy. They're gonna lock you up for it. And I always wonder why my dad said that. And I tried telling a couple friends or whatever, just throwing it out there, or whatever, and they always mocked me and laughed at me and said I was crazy. And you hear voices in your head, and so it's a thing that everybody didn't run around telling. See, now that the world's getting out there and we're learning more about aliens. I've known aliens were true long time ago because I've seen stuff that just was unreal. Like I've seen spaceships, I've seen lights, orbs, stuff that you can't explain. I catch now. They say they're little green men or whatever, but I've seen like gray and I'm pretty sure there probably is green ones, but I've seen a lot of gray ones, like gray looking, alien looking things, whatever. They're like a grayish blue. But people will sit there, oh, you're crazy, you're full of it, but hey, it's stuff that has happened to me. Like when I was younger or whatever, my dad told me not to tell people this story either. But I share it with people on the channel because, you guys are family and all that. So I like to tell you guys, I was a kid or whatever, and my dad had this wolf dog that we bought, and it was a full-blooded wolf or whatever, but he had the paperwork that said it was mixed. And one day we had DNR show up at our house, and they're like, you can't have that thing chained up outside or whatever. You can't have a wolf here in the city that we were living in. So my dad, they were like, well, we're going to come back or whatever. We're going to check your paperwork and all that. And they went and checked the paperwork. My dad knew that, they were going to find out. So he just went out and he cut the rope. He let the wolf go and it ran off. Well, I was out sitting in the woods hunting one day, and I seen this, which looked like a wolf to me, or wolf or coyote type looking creature, and animal, and it was walking. You'll see why I say creature. It was walking or whatever, and when it walked, it was snowing out. It was down in a little creek valley, and I was sitting on top of the ridge, and there was a baby following behind it, and it was jumping in its mom's tracks. I'm guessing mom, because usually the babies always follow the mom most of the time. And it was going, and then it was following, and it was like jumping in the tracks. And then it got to where I followed it through the little Swamp Creek area, came across, and we weren't on a trail. It was like, it was like more open because everything was all dead because it was wintertime. The trees, you could see everything for like miles. We get across and we cross over into our field, which my house was to the left, and we're on a 100-acre field. So I'm like 50 yards on the other side along because it goes along a ridge line, which a creek goes down through that ridge line. And the animal is walking along the side of the tree line, but it's staying in the field, but it's staying on the side of the field right up against the tree line. And it gets to walking or whatever, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. The puppy wasn't there no more. The baby wasn't there. All of a sudden now I'm chasing. Well, I'm not really chasing. I'm just walking a good pace, keeping up behind it. All of a sudden, it stands up. I swear to God, I had everything. I had no reason to lie to y'all. It stands up. It turns into a human, a Native American. It has the braids coming down. It has the, how they used to wear the leather or whatever, like covering their private areas. So it didn't have the top part on. It only had the bottom part going around his bosom and all that and covering up his front part. So I knew it was male. It took 4 steps in the snow, and then it vanished. And it was like almost like the Disney thing when the little thing comes in, that little fairy or whatever comes in or whatever, and then it does sparkles or whatever. This is what happened to me. It literally stood up, took 4 steps, turned into a Native American, and I knew it was a Native American. You could see it was Native, and then all of a sudden it sparkled like this, and it did like dust, fairy dust was what I call it, fairy dust. It did a sparkle, and then all of a sudden it vanished. And when I got to the end of the tracks, it was dog tracks, and this is before cameras and all that, so I couldn't take video or nothing like that. I couldn't take pictures, to prove this, but I'm just giving you my word of what happened. It turned into dog prints, and then the 4 footprints, when it turned into the man part, there was 4 human footprints, bare footprints into the snow, and then it vanished. Now, I told my dad that. My dad's like, dude, they're gonna think you're crazy. If you tell people this story, they're gonna lock you up. You're not gonna get out. You're gonna be locked in a state asylum, whatever the well institute, and you're not getting out. Like, you tell people this, you can't tell nobody. And for years or whatever, it made me like depressed or whatever, because it was like, dude, I need to tell somebody. And then I get with my best friend. I tell my best friend, he just laughs about it, blows it off, like, oh, you're just hallucinating, dude. Whatever kind of drugs you're on, I want them drugs. I'm like, dude, I'm not hallucinating. Like, this really happened. And I tell people about the Bigfoots when I see them or whatever. And it's in a way, it does a thing to your mind, though. It plays tricks on your mind, because you're like thinking, like, am I really seeing this? Like when you see spirits and shadows and stuff and ghosts and all that, and you catch a little glimpse of them popping out of a door frame and going back or whatever, your mind starts playing tricks on you. Like, am I really hallucinating? Am I really seeing this? Am I going crazy? And then when other people are seeing it with you, then you realize, hey, I'm not really crazy. I'm not really making this up. I'm not just hearing these voices, these whoops, these grunts, these, and then I'm like, for a while, I asked Chris a lot of times, I'm like, Chris, you hear that? No, I don't hear that. Chris, you hear that? My wife goes out with me, and she's like, babe, I know you heard that thump. Babe, I know you heard that whistle. Babe, I know you heard that whoops. Like, she can hear them, like I can. Like, and I'm like, whoa, and in your mind, you're like, dude. And then she's like, did you see that shadow right there? Did you see that? Yeah, I seen that. I'm just thought I was crazy. Like, it was all playing in my head. Like, I'm just, and then, so people that think they're crazy and stuff's going on and stuff's happening and all that, hey, if you need somebody to reach out to, somebody to talk to, I'm here. I'll listen. I'll talk to you. I'll give you feedback. I'll help you, because a lot of people thought I was crazy too. And I literally thought I was going crazy. Like, but
I want to address to Mount Shasta. Yes, there's been a lot of activity now in Mount Shasta, which is only 6 hours for me from here. And I know for a fact there are 3 different clans there. Even over by the lake.
Are you allowed to tell the people how many different clans there are?
You can say how many clans in your area. But you don't give them
Sasquatches. Yeah, I know in Sasquatches there's like 8 different kind of clans.
Right.
I didn't know if we're allowed to say that, like tell people or whatever. But I know there's 8 clans of different kind of Now, don't get me wrong, there's different kinds of Sasquatches in the clan, but there's 8 different clans of Sasquatches.
Like I said, son, when I told you and Josh, you can say it, but you can't say what type of clan. Mm-hmm. You can't speak for someone but yourself. Mm-hmm. Yes, the Mount Shasta, I go there too, and some of my relatives come out there with me to track Gate Master Tansei. So he says, good day to you today. I'm returning from the forest. Many good vibes. Awesome. Much blessing. I also do, when I do go out to Mount Shasta, there is one part is over by the lake. There is a log that's in the lake and goes all the way into the forest. The reason why there's a log there is because that's where they go, and then they fish.
They scoop up fish. I showed Chris that. Chris couldn't believe that. We were out at the dam, and Chris kept trying to put his hand in there, and he'd go real slow, and he tried to grab the fish, right? And then he put his hand in there, and he tried to grab the fish, and he couldn't catch the fish. So Songa was like, "Okay, I'll show you how us Bigfoots do it." You know, joke, because I always joke around. You know, I always play like I'm a Bigfoot, whatever, because I do weird stuff too. So I reach in the water, and I cup my hand like this, and I take it, and I scoop it. And I just scoop it right out of the water, like flick it right out of the water, and it lands up on the shore that's flopping or whatever. And I said, that's how you catch it. And the reason why I learned that, it wasn't from watching like Sasquatches do it or anything like that. It was from watching a cat, you know, like a cat or a bear. When they grab them, the bear grabs it with his paw and it flicks it. It flicks it up onto the shore, which a cat does the same
He
thing.
grabs it and then bites it.
Yeah, they flick it or whatever. I've seen a lot of them flick it up on the shore though. You know, like they smack it and paw it. So that was my idea. Was like, hey, I watch animals do it, so I'm just playing like, you know, like I'm an animal. So I was like, okay, well, we're technically are animals, but I go whoop and then scoop it up on the shore and it's up there flopping. And I say, see, that's how you catch it.
Yeah, many people say that what makes a Satanga come in an area.
What makes a Satanga come into the area? I can tell you some of the reasons how it happens here. They like to be around humans and children and all that, and they like to watch us. They like to observe us. They like to see what we do, how we act, how we are, and what kind of things we like doing. And they learn. They're studying us. They're learning us. Kind of like how I'm studying them. They're studying us. See, now what this weird is, they're not used to people actually seeing them and actually. And see, there's a thing I gotta say though. It's not like seeing them with your physical eyes. Like they cloak a lot. They're invisible. But when the camera catches them and I'm learning their behaviors and I know where they're at, I can watch them through the camera or whatever and see them. They don't know that. Like I don't think they realize that I can actually physically see them through the camera lens and all that and see what they're doing and all that. So I'm studying them and I'm learning them just like they study us or whatever. So I think that's why they accepted me or whatever, because they're like, wow, this dude, like when they walk up beside me, you're going to ask Josh this, I'm not making this up. I can sense them walking up next to me. I can sense them standing up behind me. Like, I don't know how I can do this. It's just a gift I have. I can feel them when they run by. I can see them when they run by trails. I don't know. It's just something I have. It's some kind of gift I have. Like they could be cloaked or whatever, and I'd be like, "There's one standing right there." Like when that one was, I couldn't believe it. When the one was cloaked, I was literally from here to my wall, which is like not even like 2 foot. You know, like it was like really standing in the bush.
It was about a foot away from.
And I'm like literally standing right there in front of it, guys, and it's cloaked. Like the predator looked cloaked. And I'm like, dude, it's standing right there. I'm pretty sure I was on a live stream. I'm like, it's standing right there and it's cloaked. And then all of a sudden, and I'm like, nah. And then, you know, Songa being Songa, I go like this and I put my hand out because I want to touch it. I want to physically, because I'm thinking when they're cloaked, you can still feel them. So I'm like, I'm going to touch it. You know, I reached my hand out to go touch it, and all of a sudden, boom, it took off. And I was like, I bet you can touch them.
They won't allow you to touch. It has to be on their terms.
Well, they do allow you to touch them, but yeah, you have to ask them for permission.
Yes.
Because when I was in PA, I said, "Can I touch you?" And it says, "What you want me to touch you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And it says, "Put your hands out." So I put my hands out like this, and I'm standing there in PA. And Josh can verify this, you guys. Everybody can go back and ask Josh from Squat Shop at PA. He'll verify this. I'm standing with my hands out. All of a sudden, I can feel it touch my hand, and my hands got really, really cold, like ice cold. And I was like, man, why is your hand so cold? You know, you guys are turning my hands ice cold. And then the EVP says, you can feel us? And I'm like, yeah, I can feel you. And then I said, I feel the one touching my shoulder too, whatever. You got my shoulder ice cold. And it says, you can really feel us. I'm like, yeah, I can really feel you. And then in my mind, the one walks up next to me, and I'm thinking like, wow, this one just walked up next to me to my right side. I'm like, it just walked up and stopped right next to me. And then on the EVPs, it says, you can hear us? And I'm like, well, yeah, I can hear you. And then the one was following me. It was walking behind me, and I can feel it walking behind me, and I can hear it too with the crunches of the leaves. And then I say, I'm in my head, in my mind, I'm thinking this, guys. I'm not saying it out loud. In my mind, I'm like, wow, there's one following right behind me. And then it says, you can hear me following, you can feel me following behind you. I'm like, yeah, I can feel it. So then it was like, that's when that's why they considered me like a witch, a warlock. They're like, this dude's a witch, this dude's this, because they're not used to people sensing them. They're not used to people knowing that they're there. They're not used to people hearing them. And I think that's why they gave me mad respect out there at Josh's spot, and they give me mad respect at my spot, is because they know I can feel them, I can sense them, I can tell when they're cloaked and they're walking up on me, and it's just a gift, man. And then I'm like, I catch glimpses of them, and then and I tell them all the time, dude, you don't have to cloak. Like, they come here and they're in the house and all that, and I tell them, I said, man, you don't have to cloak while you're here, but they won't uncloak. Like, sometimes they do, don't get me wrong. Like, when I looked at the one in the window, it wasn't cloaked. We looked at each other for a while, just staring back and forth at each other. And I was trying to get it to talk to me. Like, I've been trying to get them to speak English to me. I know they can speak English. I know they can talk. But for some reason, they will talk on the EVPs. They'll blow the EVPs up. But physically hearing them talk with your naked ear, they have not yet done that. And that's what I want them to do. I want them to be able to talk to me. I want to be able to see them physically, like standing face to face. I want to be able to shake their hand, give them a hug, ask them how their day was. And I know I'm kind of weird when I say this, but that's what I want to do.
Right. Soundwave says, Ramona, do Bigfoot stay in the same area forever? It seems they come and go. Two can stay, but most of the time they have to travel.
I'm going to tell you guys this. I've been doing this almost 2 years or whatever. And at my hotspot, they stay there all the time. They never leave. They're not, I mean, don't get me wrong. They travel. Like, they travel. They can go places and all that. Like, they go for car rides. They go to Fort Custard. They go out to all these other parks that I do. Like, if I go do a hunt somewhere else, they follow me to that spot. And I'm not making this up. Like, literally, I know they follow me because I catch pictures of them at the other spot. So they go and travel with you. It's like when they're attached to you, whatever. They hang out at my house. They follow me to different places. They get in the car. They go on car rides. They go to the store. Like, I'll be in the store and I walk down the aisle. I'm like, I tell Alicia, I point at my nose and she's like, yeah, I smell it. I'm like, they're in the store with us, walking around in the store, And the people are like, I tell people this, they're like, dude, you're weird. Everything's Sasquatch to you and all that. This is stuff that really happens. Like, I can't make this up. It really happens. My daily life.
Soundwave says, Biggie, they must think I'm crazy. I always think of them, and they would knock when I'm always too. If you have a certain clan that you visit, say you're visiting a certain area and you're constantly always going there, they're going to remember you. They're going to remember your smell, your sense of smell, and how you walk, how you present yourself.
Yeah. So, I'm going to say this too, guys. Like, I went, my wife, she went to the doctor's appointment the other day, right? And there was a set of woods right there. So me being Songa, I go into the woods because she's going to be into the appointment for a few hours. So I'm like, well, I'm going to pop into these woods. Well, as soon as I go to pop in the woods, there's a baby deer and a mama deer standing there, and they see me, but they don't get scared. The mama deer starts actually walking towards me. I'm thinking, well, I'm going to be able to pet this deer. Well, then all of a sudden she stops for a minute, and then she turns and she goes off this way. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm watching, like, observing what's around me and all that. And I see a buck, and I turn around and the buck does like a at me. I go back to the car and I sit in the car, and all of a sudden, I don't know if they can sense you or not, but all of a sudden I hear the wood knock, blink. And I'm like, wow, it's communicating with me. And then I'm sitting there and I turn over, and what catches my eye is, you know how you got a reflective mirror or something, and when you're shining it on the thing or whatever, and you're trying to get like SOS at somebody or whatever, it coming from the woods. So all of a sudden this light hits my eyes or whatever, and I'm doing them. When I did them 3 videos I uploaded or whatever, them shorts the other day, it does the shining or whatever, it hits me in the eye, and I turn and look or whatever, and there's a Sasquatch just chilling right there in the woods, a reddish Sasquatch shining in my eye of this light, and it kept doing it with the light or whatever, like reflecting the light into my eye. And I'm like, and I seen it move because I was like, I'm gonna get out of the car, and all of a sudden it moves, and then it stops and it's standing right there, and I'm like, is it really just gonna show itself to me like this? And then all of a sudden it ducks down, And then I go to get out of the car, and all of a sudden it takes off. And I'm like, you just want to play. Let me know that you're there. That was kind of neat.
I got an email from another subscribers asking me about the Beetle Warriors. The Beetle Warriors are, when they came over to come to the land, they wanted to trade with us natives. So they said if we help them, they will give us a sword. So if you see a sword with a native carved in the mountain of the clay, like in the Navajo Mountains or in Yosemite, and you see a native with a shield, with a sword, and it's all metal from head to toe. Yes, they had the metal would helps kill certain spirits. So that way we can carry on to our next term life. And they would trade with us natives. This is true, and I have said this. They had came over from different to help bring walls down so others can actually come in to the States, where many natives had set different tribals, which means like Cherokee, Navajo, Apache, Sioux, Lakota, Blackfeet, Canada, same thing. See, Canada and Blackfeet, we combine with them, and we all at the same time have an understanding for protection. Yes, we have different dialogues. I do have a couple friends and relatives that are in Canada, and they also asked me, what is it that with the pictures on the wall? I said, what wall? You mean the mountain wall? That's because they're showing you that back in history of our times, our relatives had to fight many spirits, which were the evil ones. So to defend our relatives. Yes, there was some people, was around many relatives, excuse me, and they say, if we can trade, we will give you armor from head to toe. So that was one I wanted to speak of because she had mentioned it, and she's like, well, I was doing some history, and I said, well, it doesn't tell me much, she said it, but it said that the Beetle Warriors came to help the natives. And I'm like, they did a trading. Yes, I can answer that. Yes. There's a question. Gate Master, Dansei, my friend. And when the military finds out your abilities, they recruit you or send you in different places around the world to check out the supernatural. Free ticket to see the world. You know, being in the military, yes.
I mean, I'd be enlightened if they came to me and asked me to fly. Like I've been wanting to do that not finding Bigfoot, but Expedition Bigfoot. I've been wanting to go on theirs or whatever and do stuff with them and show them some of my knowledge. And
well, Marie has contacted me, and she
do
does that with her group. The
even if I'm just the cameraman, you know, hanging out with the other dude or whatever that goes all over, you know.
Yeah, she does good. She has one of my medicine bags too, and like I told people, I do speak with her too. She'll ask me questions, and she goes, "Well, we were in Oregon, and they were doing an expedition out there, and she says it was we were getting many advice from the relatives there, and people were saying, hey, this here's been active, and they would investigate it. And then she would call me and she says, well, do you have relatives in Alaska? Yes, I do. And
Yeah,
she's
my
like,
rainforest
okay,
from
well,
Alaska.
we're going up there,
Well, Canada.
and it's very, very complicated. So make sure you're warm and you're protected, because um, actually the Satangas in Alaska, they're very aggressive.
Yeah, and I wanted to live in Alaska. Like that's my dream spot to live. Like I can't afford to go there and all that, but I tell you guys, I would love to live in Alaska because
Sunset
for one,
face.
that's where the triangle thing is, and that's where all the cryptid encounters and all the wicked stuff, like all the different creatures and like you hear about in folklores and all that, they're all right there in that triangle spot. That's where people go missing, the 401 cases, all that, everything right there in Alaska.
Face A says, hello, great outdoors.
Face days, hello,
Okay.
my brother John P.
Brother JP, much blessings. Um, Great Master says, I feel to them and I see them sometimes when they're moving. I hear them walking with me as I walk through a danger zone in many lands. Yes. Um, there's always going to be two, and then there is one dog, always during the day, watching, going, following. They will send certain bird signals to allow you other clan to know there is many humans and that are unrecognized.
See, somebody asked me that too. They said, "Well, how come nobody ever like comes across them sleeping in their nest or catches them like on the like?" It's because they have watchers. They have dogs that watch out for them. They're not going to let you get close enough to them to be catching them sleeping in the nest or catching them. You might catch a glimpse of them running off from the nest or something like that, but you're not going to catch them actually sleeping in the nest.
Right. Dunsay Henry, welcome. Um, you know, what I'm want everyone to understand that there is many people that don't understand when they're out investigating, they say they're hunting. Actually, you're wrong. When you're saying hunting, you should say investigating. We're
I say go
investigating.
on a hunt because I've been used to saying that, And then when
Going
you
on a
think about
hunt,
it, you say hunt, you're actually thinking like hunting with a gun.
right. And I always try to tell many people, many other channels, when you're investigating, say investigation. You're going to do this investigation and it's going to be positive and we're going to have a great time. Because if you say hunt and you're thinking hunt in your mind, they're going to like, okay, they're going to smell you
That's
firearm.
why. Yep, that's true. That's why if you hear me, Mama, like I always ask the other teams or whatever, I say, okay, so what does Sasquatch have, hair or fur? If they refer to it as fur, that means that they want to confirm it as an animal because a lot of people refer it to an animal so that way they can hunt it. See, now if you refer to it as being Sasquatch hair, like our hair, then you're considering it to be a human, which you don't hunt humans. You're not supposed to hunt humans.
Correct.
That's why I always ask people, is it Sasquatch hair or is it Sasquatch fur? Because if they refer to it as fur, they're referring to it as an animal. And people like to refer to it as an animal because they like to hunt it and kill animals. That's why people refer to it as an animal.
Right. Um, no, I better not say that. No.
Well, there was people that said something about one time I was watching this one. He says, I shot it 5 times, the Bigfoot. But the funny thing is when they went to go shoot it, it cloaked. So therefore, are you really hitting it? No. You did nothing to it. And not only that, there's been a study, and I've told people about this like a whole bunch of times. The reason why Songa decided to get a 10 millimeter pistol was because I watched these bear shows or whatever up in Alaska, and they were hunting bears. Well, they used 357s, they used 40 cals, they used 44s, they used 45s, they used all these different guns to shoot this bear. and the 357 went in like once, and then the 40 cal went in like one time, but it didn't go far enough to penetrate the bear. Well, the one dude shot it with the 10 millimeter 4 times, and each 4 rounds went all the way through the bear's skin, because there's a fat on the bear's skin, which is the same thing like a Sasquatch, the fat on them, that when you shoot them, it just it's like shooting them with a BB, whatever. It hits them or whatever, and then it might stick into them a little bit, and they pull it out, whatever, or it might hit them and bounce off. So they have tough enough fur, tough enough skin, and whatever, where it's not penetrating through them. So it's almost like body armor in a way.
Right. Dansei Griff, welcome again. Gate Master says, I know if it wasn't for one being with, I guess he meant me at the time, that I would be here above the ground today. Again, like I say, they do protect. If they feel that you're not doing something wrong, now I'm confused face. So it's yes. If they trust you enough, yes.
I got one for you, Mama.
Yes, babe.
So when they gifted me and my wife here at the house, what does that mean?
You're considered family
So that means they accepted me into
to
their
their clan.
So
Correct.
that means, see that that's a good
The
thing.
the roses, the flower, that means one is in love with Alicia. Now they gave you sage because it's to protect you. That's letting them know that you're protected by them. And then to receive tobacco, then you have power with them.
They don't give out all the key things, Mama, in the middle. There's a couple other things that we can't tell people because I don't want people to fake it, whatever, So
yeah, but you have already been protected, and you are family to them. Now, me, I've gotten like a doll made.
I remember you showed it to me, or whatever. That was actually pretty sweet.
That one I have in my room. I hang it up. It is next to my pictures of my family that I have when my kids growing up, and my mom and I, my sister. It's there with it. I don't really share any of my stuff with any of my clans because being a medicine woman, it's very sacred.
Yeah, but the thing is Mama knows, because I told her, I said, hey, I got gifted, and the first thing that came out of her mouth was, when I said I got gifted, was, did they wrap it in vine? And I was like, well, how for one, how would you even know that unless you're actually getting gifted? I mean, come on now. Somebody that's getting gifted, she tells me all the time she's getting gifted. Like, she don't show me everything either. But she tells me I got gifted when I went out there, and I'm thinking like, okay, because she doesn't show you, she just tells you, hey, I got gifted, and she tells you what she got gifted. Sometimes, she tells me. But the thing is I tell her, I call her out, I say, hey, Mom, I got gifted. She's like, well, I want to ask you something. Did they wrap it in vine? And then she's like, well, if they wrapped it in vine, you got gifted from the Bigfoots. I was like, huh? Like, how would you even know? And they did. They wrapped it in vine, which was kind of weird.
Because, and it has to be a certain kind of vine.
Yeah. That's the key thing, too. You can't get that out either, because.
But it's okay because, no, the only way you can find out is if they did it, there's only a certain way that a clan can do it.
Well, everybody's seen the tracks, right? I took pictures of the tracks. It's on a short on the channel, whatever. It was a 21-inch print, so everybody knows the 21-inch print as being Big Black, which is Benjamin. And it was coming the way of the buckets where he put the gift or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that Benjamin is the one that left the gift.
Samway says, is there a life lesson you think Bigfoot taught you, Biggie? Mine is, I don't know everything like I thought I did.
Bigfoot taught me, they tell me all the time, Biggie, you think too much, you overthink. So they tell me. They tell me that when you're around us, just clear your mind, dude, because your mind wanders. And they said all the stuff that you think, like them snatching me up or them doing this or them doing that, they're telling me that I'm overwhelming myself in my mind of thinking one way, and they're not like that. They're just like normal human beings or whatever, like us. And they always tell me that when I'm thinking the crazy thoughts that I think in my head, that dude, you're overthinking. Like you think way too much. Like you're over, like you, the littlest thing. And like when I see the traps and I see like the certain stuff, my mind thinks like this and this and this and this and this. Like I'll have like 10 different scenarios and I'm like, well, why are they doing this or why are they doing that? And they're like, dude, you're thinking way too much. It's a simple thing. It's just something that's simple. You're thinking like, oh, they're doing this and they're making this and they're not. And when I sit back and I think about it, I'm like, well, maybe I am overthinking it too much. And then that's how I learned, oh, they're doing it because they want to keep animals out of there, or they're doing it because they want, maybe there's a animal coming in there, so they built the trap or whatever, so it springs back and smacks them or whatever, like it did me in the belly, and it cut me. But I was thinking they were doing it for like humans or whatever, and they're like, nah, dude, you're overthinking it. Like you're making stuff up in your head, you know? So they tell me all the time, stop overthinking. Mama tells me all the time too, stop overthinking it, Songa. Just clear your mind. And they tell me the same thing, clear your mind. When you're out there, just clear your mind and just listen, observe. You're there to observe and listen. You're not there to make your mind like I noticed this when I used to go camping. I would jump out of a bush when the kids were camping when they were little. I would jump out of the bush and I'd be like, rah! And they're like, oh, that's just Uncle Gary, you know? So when I go out there, I tried this. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to shake some trees. Okay, so when I didn't say rah, jump out of the bush or anything, I just shook the trees. Their mind wandered. It was like, oh my God, it's a bear. Oh my God, it's this. Oh my God, it's that. They're freaking out. They're like to the hysterical. They're like screaming, yelling, running, and they're like, I hear one of them yell bear, one of them yells it's a wolf. One of your mind just all of a sudden, just whatever creature you're afraid of or whatever automatically just comes out of you, you know? And then I was laughing so hard or whatever, and I'm like, wow, that's what it is. When you sit there and you overthink or whatever, you try to do it like, rah, you know, you're just doing too much. Now, when you just do the littlest thing, it makes people wonder and it freaks them out. So your mind or whatever, when you do stuff or whatever, you just gotta let your mind go or whatever and just be natural.
Someone has put, do Bigfoot like certain music?
Yes, they like certain music. Yeah, they like stuff that has like a beat to it, like
Like
where
the drums?
like you're like me and Josh, we use Herman the Worm or whatever because they it's a children's one or whatever, but it has the beat to it. It's like dun 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 dun, dun. And then they'll be out there. You'll see them. They'll be dancing. They'll be like this back and forth. Dun, 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 dun. They dance to the music. They like music that has like a beat to it. Now it could be country, it could be rap, it could be children's music, it could be whatever. As long as it has a good little beat to it, they like something with a beat.
Correct. Now, Gate Master says, my father spoke of a time when his people traded with the forest people. My dad was born in 1900s. Okay, yes, this is true. We have traded, and to this day, I still do trade. I do communicate. For a while, I couldn't, walk, and I just started walking, and I'm getting better. And yes, I went and saw my clan. I shouldn't have because I fell and hurt myself, but I'm.
Her leg is probably still swollen, bro. Like she shows me pictures of her leg or whatever, and it's like it's swelled up, guys. She should not have did this. She went because she's stubborn like Songa. We're stubborn. Us we're like really stubborn. She goes out, she does it, she walks all the way up there, and then she regrets it, and then her leg's been swollen ever since. You know, she's trying to get.
I don't regret it.
No, I don't think you regret it. It's just that you regret the walk from the foot, but you don't regret being out there with them. She loves being out there with them. She just her body just says you can't do it.
They would walk me down. That's how close I am to my clan. All three of them. Now I think I'm having a fourth one, which is in the Sonora, and I know that they visit, and my husband says, I think your clans are here, but I see something fighting. And I had to come out, and they both stood up like she's
So
present.
why does Papa Gomez say that or whatever that your clan's here? How does he know that they're there?
Because he knows the smell. He can't actually see him, but the smell.
My wife says it all the time. Your friends are here. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, smell.
Yes, I gate mastered. Yes, indigenous and natives, all the tribal has traded many things, medicine. Um, we will do amongst different things, blankets, clothing, and it's either they use it for trade or for them for others. So
That's how
yes,
smallpox and all that got to the natives and all that was from trading.
it smells like a silent bomb. Ah,
I noticed something else too, though. Whatever with the smell or whatever, the more you smell it, the more you get used to it, whatever too. So like the more I think the reason why they come around and they do the smell thing is because now they can walk right up on me, like right next to me, and before I would like almost puke and gag and all that, like it would almost make me vomit. Now I'm so used to the smell that it's just natural.
um,
And they smell all year long. So whoever says if you got a person that like I've watched other channels and I don't want to blast out the other channels' names, because I'm tired of doing that already. But anyway, the other channels say, well, they only smell during mating season. They only smell during mating season. Well, I hate to tell y'all, mating season's all year long. They mate whenever they want, like humans. Because I've seen babies in the winter, I've seen babies in the summer, I've seen babies in the fall, babies in the spring. They mate when they want to mate, and they smell all year long. Like literally, I've smelled them all through the whole year. Smell all through the year. So, do they only smell during mating season? No. Do they only mate during a certain season? I don't feel that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times that they snuggle up and they get closer together, and when it gets closer to winter time and all that. And yeah, when you snuggle with your partner, you guys, you mingle and blah blah blah. So yeah, they're kind of like is a mating that people consider a mating time, a mating season, but do I feel that they mate? No, like a certain time of the year? No, they're not like, see, because that's why people say that. They say, well, do they mate during this time or what time do they mate? What time is mating season? The reason why they want to know that is because they're referring them again, like I said, to an animal. And when you refer them to an animal, that's giving you the okay to hunt them. They want them, they want them to be an animal because people want them as a trophy on their wall. That's the only reason why they consider them mating time, mating season. Then they consider it fur instead of hair. And like when I say they find big old clumps of hair, you're not finding big old clumps of hair like that. You might find 1 or 2 or 3 strands, because they're losing it like we lose our hair. When you take your hair, you have long hair, and you brush it up against a tree or whatever, and you go to pull it, maybe 1 or 2 strands will come out. You know what I'm saying? It's not like people always think, well, when they hit prickers or whatever, the little sticky patches or whatever, that they're yanking out big old clumps of hair. It's not true. They're yanking out like 1 or 2. That's why when you find Sasquatch hair, you're finding 1 or 2 fibers, 1 or 2 hair strands.
Uncut Savage says, relatives, have you ever heard of a dog man or dog woman with clothing on? Not shredded like Hollywood image, but like dress itself. Well,
You're getting into the werewolf you're getting into the other kind of cryptid.
many, like I said, there is a dog woman, but many people kept saying dog man, dog man. But when you actually look at it, and it has been confirmed from
It
all
has,
my.
and it has
Mm-hmm.
the female parts. Best way to describe it is if you ever looked at a cat, or a dog, the women have their
There
some
is
of the dogs
another,
are on Bigfoots.
another question was someone had asked, well, how do you know a Bigfoot is a male? You can't see it.
Technically, you can see it if you're looking at it hard enough. They do have, and
If
it
you
does
have
stay and it does hang.
if you have a clear picture and see. And yes, I can see. I said, oh my goodness. Oh no. You need to cover more up.
Because a lot of times the reason why you don't really see them or whatever is because the hair goes over the top part. It's like it makes like a blind over their privates, if you know what I mean, like an
Correct.
animal. So therefore, you're not really physically seeing it. When you see it, like when people see it and they're like close enough to see it, they say, "Well, I don't see the part down there or whatever." And a lot of times that's true. It's because the hair or whatever grows over it or whatever, and it blankets it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Gate Master says, ever since I fell out of the apple tree as a child, I've been told that I have a protector with me. Gate Master, I did tell you that you do. Somewave says, my granddad lived there and then got a house after WW2, World War II. Then his son, my dad, went to college in Georgia. For some reason, I inherited PST from him because of the Vietnam sense of some time. Well, usually they say that it starts in your younger life. And oh, he's here to pick up his cat.
I don't know. He just
You
showed
tell
up.
him I said that. He'll probably get mad and say, that wicked woman. He doesn't like me putting stuff in his things, in his comments. So, slightly build, usually a male build or a female. Females are built. There are some females that are built as a male because she can be the dominant one in certain clans. It all depends. So, in certain areas, because she could be the dominant one for her clan there, her family. So
Now I did have one when I was on a live stream or whatever that was behind the bush or whatever, and it was ducking, but I was standing up and I caught a glimpse of it, whatever. When I ran around to that side of the bush or whatever, there was a clear liquid type substance on the tree branch, and Songa picked it up, whatever, and smelt it, whatever. It didn't have like a real nasty odor to it, whatever. But then I got to act like I tasted it, but I didn't taste it. But I act like that on the live stream, whatever, just messing around. But got further into it, noticing that somebody was like, "Hey, Songa, that Bigfoot was back there doing and then that was what was on the ground." And so I do know they have their moments where they're doing the nasty when they're watching people. So,
yep. It says Soundwave. We don't have any pictures of Bigfoot private parts. They just not happy to see you, be.
that's why I said that, because I read that, and they were happy to see me one time because they did that behind the bush. So I just answered that question for you because they were happy to see me.
Game Master says, well, my dad would leave for work at a couple of weeks at a time, sometimes for months. We would be with mom in the bush, and we would be gifting the deers and giving craft of the little people made out vines. Yes, that is true. They do many things. So, CP says, thank you all for joining in. Have a great day, safe day. I have things to get done. Bye for now. Many blessings.
Bye, CP.
Thank you for coming in the community and being with us. Many people do gift their or that area, and it's okay to gift as long as you don't trade areas to gift, because you should only gift in the same spot. Henry
Yeah, I used
said,
to try that or whatever. I tried gifting in one spot, and then I asked Mama. I said, so I put their food on the ground, and then she was like, "No, that's disrespectful. Why would you put their food on the ground?" I said, "I don't know. I put their food on the ground because that's what I figured. When I first started hunting them or whatever, well, investigating them, I thought they were just like an animal or whatever. So I was just like, hey, animals eat off the ground or whatever. So I started throwing their food on the ground. Mama said that's disrespectful or whatever. You need to find a tree or something laying down and start gifting them. So I started doing that, and then I noticed that they wouldn't let other animals touch their food or whatever, and they wouldn't let other, during that spot or whatever. And then I started to keep using the same spot because once you start doing that, they're used to you gifting in one spot, and then they keep coming back to that one spot, and they know that's their spot.
right.
That's why she says when you gift them in one spot, because I did this and it was a no. So don't ever put their food on the ground and all that, guys. Like don't just throw it on the ground because that's disrespectful.
Find a, find a stump or a log that's on the ground. Henry says, do they mark trees like deers, dogs? Yes, they do.
Yes, I do. Yeah. That's true. I mean, me and Josh and PA, we found where the dog was peeing on the side of the tree, and then it was marking the one tree, and then that's why we got, if you guys noticed, we bought UV lights or whatever, so that way we could actually try to see if we could find blood stains, like where they were dragging animals, or we did that for urine stains too, and all that. So yeah, we know that they mark trees, and you can smell it too. Like I go into the den part or whatever, and I'm like smelling or whatever, and I'm like, man, it smells like real strong. I mean, I'm pretty sure I said in live streams plenty of times when I'm in there, you can smell when they just pee because it has that strong pee odor, but it also has that musty odor too from the Sasquatch smell, the must. So you can tell.
Also, too, when people do investigations and they use like the lights, red, green, blue, yellow, they can see right through it.
Yeah, they can, just like I tell everybody, they can see the trail cam or whatever.
I heard people say in different channels to say that they have they've caught a satanga or something and the lights, well, they do see through. That's why I try to explain to everybody. And then they say, well, they really like blue.
Well, that's because Songa had a theory about blue orbs and blue things. So now that the other channels, and you can go back, and this has been proven. Like you guys can go back and check out first videos and all that. I used to have a theory about blue lights or the UV lights, that that a certain light would give off a certain ray or whatever, and they couldn't see that light. So now that's why the other channels say, well, the blue light, whatever. I feel that because they follow me and they mimic me. That's the only thing I can tell you guys. Is what happens or whatever. That's why if you watch the other channels, when I went off about me showing you the nest in the tree, and then all of a sudden the other channel had a nest in the tree and it was scattered everywhere, I'm just saying, I try to keep it real with y'all or whatever. That's why I don't like telling people like some of the stuff I find and all that, and I try to keep some of the stuff to myself, whatever. And if they find it, then I want to know if it had the same kind of stuff in it. And
there's a channel that's
there's mimics out there.
There's a channel that's just started, and I think it's been like 2 months now, and they said that they use EVP, and then they use some strobe lights, and they're like giving different colors going around, and I'm like, why did you do that? You just, you're
because they're doing a disco party, baby. The Sasquatches are like, where's the music at? We'll get down with you. But I think the reason why they do that is because I was talking about trying all these different kind of lights and all that and different kind of things. I gave out like information, like the other day, Gooden's Auto. Gooden's Auto. A lot of people know Gooden's Auto. He gave me the idea. He was like, Biggie, so you've been talking about this mirror or whatever, two-way mirror or whatever, about putting the camera behind the two-way mirror and seeing if the Sasquatch come up like the bear did. Remember the bear walks up there and he freaks out and he starts tagging the mirror. I gave that out like. I tried to get Charles Mills to do that from ODU years ago, like a few years back.
I remember that.
I kept giving that information out. And then Gonzalo was like, well, Songa, why don't you do that? Why don't you actually do your idea that you said you were going to do? So Chris the other day from the channel, everybody knows Chris, he ordered me 2 nano cameras, and he ordered me a body camera that we're going to start using on the channel now, because the camera, whatever, when I see them in front of me and all that, you don't really get to see good images, so we got body cameras coming out, body cams that the police use. And we have the nano cam, the little micro nano cams that I'm gonna put out at the spot, and I'm doing the mirror thing too now. So I'm gonna do it finally, guys. We're gonna have it on the channel, and we're gonna try it out and see if it works.
Grift, I will keep you in my prayers. I hope you didn't physically hurt yourself or broke anything. I will pray for you. Also, Soundway says, what if you use the world's brightest flashlight, which is $600? It will be difficult for them.
They don't like bright lights. They hate bright lights, guys. And you know what? Take a flashlight and shine it in your own eyes. You're not gonna like it either. They don't like it. And think about it. They're seeing in infrared or whatever. When you hit infrared or whatever, you put a light on it. What does it do? It's like blinding you. So they don't like spotlights. Josh will tell you guys that from Squash Topic PA. We found this out. They don't like when we cut our spotlights on. They hate it. They hate the spotlights. They hate real bright lights. You know what they told me on EVPs? Why don't you try using a torch? Which I was like, I asked Mom, I said, well, what is a torch or whatever? Like they said torch. And I'm thinking like flashlight, because that's what they used to call torches. She's like, no, they're talking about like using the lantern or whatever. Well, I tried the lantern thing or whatever. It didn't light up the channel that good. But they want me to do the lantern hunt. They keep telling me they want me to do the torch hunt. And they said the reason why is because they will come out and they will come up to me closer with their body versus with the spotlight. So they're saying if you want to see us or whatever, it's basically like start a bonfire, light up the lantern, because we're going to come up to you if you do it like that, because we don't like the other lights. They don't like the lights.
I do use a lantern. I'm still old-fashioned. I still do my old ways. Soundway says, when you get mad at other channels, that's when you realize you have to do it yourself. I disagree with that, because I don't do what other channels say or anything. But I do from my experience that I've been doing for 58 years.
When I get mad at other channels, guys, I'm trying to give you guys information, because this is the reason why I get mad at other channels. Because I get tired of other channels following me or whatever, and then they go out and then they, oh, well, Songa had this happen, so now we're going to go out and now this is going to happen at our spot. And the reason why I talk about the other channels is because we're out here actually really doing it. We're actually getting real evidence and all that. These other channels that I say that are doing this or whatever and all that, I feel that they're doing it because they're not really getting evidence or whatever, so they're staging their hunts. That's why I try to let you guys know about it.
Gate Master says, I was on the res in New York, I believe, and seeing 2 different orbs on separate nights. Then a few nights later, I heard them talking in the woods. After that, I received a message to leave New York because of something bad. Yes, if they feel that if they can feel the energy from you or your vibes, they can actually see a little what's coming. So it is necessary to, if you're that close with the clan, then yes, they're giving you a warning that something can happen. Good morning, Tansei. Good afternoon. Short note, Carrie, thank you. Hey, message. I know live in the swamp forest in Florida feels good most of the time.
Swamp 8, man. The skunk ape, the swamp ape.
Kantaka. Same thing.
I think it's supposed to have like web feet or whatever with 3 toes and all that. That Bigfoot down there or whatever. I would love to go to Florida and try to find that.
Some of these channels are true trash, making up bad info, then push it.
That's even the bigger channels, dude. Like I've got a hold of the bigger channels and all that, and showed them my prints and all that, and oh, that's a bear print, that's this, and they don't even take time to even because you're a small channel, you're not real big, you're not popular. They have no time for the lower channels. They have no time for anybody that's out there actually putting boots on the ground that's doing this. The hair samples, they don't want no part of it. And the reason why is because I sit back and I watch these bigger channels and I watch them, and they're finding evidence, but it's like, in a way, when they find the evidence, it's almost like they're staging the stuff. It's almost like they're putting the footprints out there. They're doing the little hair things. They're keeping the suspense going, because what they're worried about is they want when the bigger you are, they want the money coming in. They want it to stay flowing. If there's no excitement going on whatsoever, you're not going to want to watch them. You're not going to want to stay on them. So if they're out there and they're like, did you guys hear that? Did you guys see that? Did you do this? Did you do that? Even though they're not seeing nothing, not hearing nothing or anything, they're just doing it because they're keeping the suspense. So that way you keep paying them the money. You keep paying them the money. See, that's why when me and Squatch Topic started our channels or whatever, we told you guys, once we're big and all that, we're not charging you guys to go to get our content and all that, to watch our videos and all that. We don't believe in that. We want you guys there for the ride, to show you what we're finding and what we're doing. We're not there to fake nothing. We're not here to stage nothing. All we're doing is just a couple guys in the woods that like doing this for a living, and that we just like. I don't even really do it for a living. I just do it because I like doing it. So.
I've felt many people say, "Well, how come we haven't seen you go live in your areas that you claim?" Because I don't share. I don't share where I'll. Sometimes I would talk to my clan and said, "May I? Is it time that I can share?" And they'll tell me yes or no, but I can always feel it. So being an elder, and I have more respect because of my laws. And sometimes I will show and sometimes I don't. But I'm always here to teach and give the guidance. Many people said, well, you talk a lot, but we don't see. And you know what?
Hey, watch your mouth, bro. I'm live.
I do go out and I tell the experience because I've done it for 58 years. I'm going to be 63. I've been doing it in different states. I've gone everywhere, track. I mean, this is the reason how I got my name, and I'm very, very, I demand, I want to push. Well, you're a woman. Okay. Well, I'm a woman, yes. But I'm also a daredevil. I did horseback riding, racing. I posted on this is what I did. Now you're starting to see a lot of young girls doing horseback racing. I did that. And it's important that people understand that it's not just for fun and games, but when you want to investigate and learn to track, understand that track, what it can be, and then share it. Yes, that's what I do. I'm not going to go cast it because I believe that our Father, the Creator, and the Earth are telling me, no, you don't. You walk the earth as we teach. So, many times other people will say, well, okay, well, it's good, but can you prove it? I don't need to prove anything to anybody. It's my word. And it's like they were saying, well, you want to make your YouTube channel get higher. Yeah, I don't care if it's just 10 people, 20 people, or even if I got 100. I'm just here to teach and help you understand and give you guys good guidance, And yes, my sons, I've taught them a lot, and I want them to continue to learn. Let's see. Okay. I only stopped here because I know. Elder Medicine Bear Claw woman knows the truth. Hi, Miss Wakane.
I was gonna say you too, but you're doing that. I think the lady put it on backwards.
Lots of denial, in fact, but soon the facts will not be able to be denied. Correct. That is very true. Uncut says, I say it, okay, to be wrong sometimes, only learning should be present so one can get closer to know what's right or correct. Only good will show always be behind the things we care for. Yes,
Well, on that, you guys got to think too. There's no Bigfoot expert in the world. There's nobody that. There's not one person out there. There's people out there doing it, boots on the ground, that are learning, and then they're watching other channels, and then they're throwing in the knowledge from the other channels, and they're saying this and this about the Sasquatch, and this and this and this, until you actually physically get down to them and actually have them coming around you, visiting you, hanging out, and all this other stuff. Therefore, you can actually tell other channels. Like, I've had people call me up and say, "Hey, dude, the Sasquatch is scaring me or whatever. I'm afraid they're going to rip me apart. They're going to kill me. They're going to eat me. They're going to do this. They're going to do that." That's why I tell people, calm down when you're out there. Chill out when you see one. And when they're coming around and all that, if they were going to do something, the moment they seen you, it would have been done. It would have been done. If they wanted to kill you, they would have did it right when you stepped in them woods. So stop thinking that. Stop thinking that way. When you're out there doing your hunts, chill out. Just chill out, sit down, and talk to them like normal human beings. You want to get closer to them. You want to see them. You want them to come up to you. You have to build a bond. You have to build a relationship. I've told you about this, about other channels that just go to this site, 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 here, and they're going back to the same sites, but they're taking time to go back to them. You're not building a relationship with them. You're not even gifting them. You're going out there and you're just filming or whatever. And the only reason why you're doing it is because you want the publicity, you want the money, you want people to send you stuff to your channel. You have to build a relationship with them. You have to find a home base. You need to establish a relationship. That's why you see me. I have one active spot. Don't get me wrong. I went to a couple other spots to check them out, but to build a relationship, to get them to come to you, to get them closer, to get pictures, to get videos, to get stuff of them, you have to build a spot. You have to build a relationship with them. And do I feel like if you had like say if I had my own property or whatever, they would literally come and move into my property. You know what I'm saying? They come to my house, you know what I'm saying? But if I had a set of woods, they would literally move into my woods. You know what I'm saying? They will follow you. But the thing is, you have to build the relationship with them first to get them to hang out with you, to follow you, to do. If you're just going here filming, going there filming, going here filming, going there filming, you might catch one here and there. Yeah, but you're not building a relationship with them. You're just out just filming just to get content for your channel.
right.
So if you want the experience to actually physically have them, attached to you, to catch, you have to build a relationship. You have to build a bond. It's like any animal. You can't just walk out in the woods and go up to I'm going to go up to the squirrel and give him a nut out of my hand. You can't do that. You have to literally sit out there every day. It might take you a week. It might take 3 hours. It depends on how the squirrel reacts to you and how you react to the squirrel. You sit out there the longer you hang out there, that squirrel will eventually come up and eat out of your hand. Same thing with Sasquatches. Same thing with any kind of animal, any kind of human, anything like that. You have to build a relationship with them for them to trust you enough before they start talking and hanging out with you.
Correct. All right. We've been on here 2 hours and 17 seconds. I do want to say, if you are looking for protection medicine bags, you can get a hold of me. My email. Let me.
And yes, Songa did pay for his medicine bags, guys. So don't feel like you were just, you know what I'm saying? It helps her out. She takes time to make them, stitch them all together, put the stuff in them, pray over them for you and all that. It costs money to ship them, money to put the stuff in there, So Songa, if you guys think that, Mama just hands them out to her family for free and all that, family members pay too.
Uncut. Let's go back one more. I think Bigfoot's often probably stand right next to people cook and grill in tents and never make it known. Or if they do, they let you see them frequently. This is true. You are in a camping area, they're pretty much close. If they feel that you're a good family But one thing they'll do is they'll make sure the kids are not going too far off. The little children can actually tell you, I can see them. So, yes.
That's because kids' eyes or whatever are like the camera thing. They can see spirits. They can see ghosts. They can, you know what I'm saying? They can see the cryptid encounters and all that.
Also, too, you can get hold of me on Facebook, Elder Medicine Bear Claw, on Messenger, too. So, if you need deep prayers and stuff, you know, you can message me and I'll help you with the prayers. Let's see. Robin says, when me and my son go, I want to learn for myself, not for everyone else, because I want to know what is there. My mom always told me, no matter what age you are, you will never stop learning. Correct. That is very, very correct. All here to learn and to teach others right. Treat yourself right. Treat our surroundings right. That's very true. It's important because, even in the woods, the forest, it's Mother Earth. She allowed us to walk upon the whole world. So, it's important that we all learn to communicate proper. As it is, let's cut this. My son needs to go somewhere, and I'm sure family and my daughter-in-law is waiting. For that is, I am Elder Medicine Bear Claw. You can get a hold of me again and my email. Forgive me for my email. That's my husband's nickname for me because my eyes are tiger eyes. Even her son. We have tiger eyes. They're green, yellow.
I'm
So,
Sean Guy from the Great Outdoors Biggie YouTube channel. Check us on the Facebook group at the Great Outdoors Biggie. I'll keep us watching if you're watching.
and everyone have a blessed day. Thank you for coming with the community and spending time with us and myself. Thank you, San. Hi. Isko nagong gonye. Okay. Love you all. May peace be with you. Remember to smile. Love yourself. It's important.
Hugs to all.
Yes. Many blessings.